garbage threatening pestilence and pollution. Also, every second, somewhere in this former utopia below the Mason and Dixon, dozens of decrepit old men and women are popping off like flies, unable to withstand the shock. Abandoned by sons, daughters, and grandchildren whose refusal to help their doddering relatives with bedpans and other soothing necessities has resulted in their hasty, nasty, messy corpus delicity. But most critically affected of all by this complete drought of Afro-American resources are our police officers and other public safety guardians. One officer known affectionately as Two-A-Day Pete for his 2 Negro head whippings per day has already been wheeled and carted off to the county insane asylum, unable to withstand the shock of having his spotless slate sullied by interruption. It is expected that it is feared that among municipal judges will expect the same thing, preventing for that the first time in years of distinguished bench sitting from sentencing one single Negro to a Who Scout or a poacher. Devastated by the Holocaust of war. A vital, lively, throbbing organism brought to a screeching halt by the strange enigma of the missing Negroes. Now, in order to dispel your incredulity, gauge the temper of your suffering compatriots, and possibly prepare you for an equally nightmarish eventuality, we have gathered a cross-section of your city's most distinguished leaders for exclusive interviews. Civic organization and staunch bellwether of the political opposition, Mrs. Council Plan. Now, Mrs. Plan, how do you account for this incredible disappearance?
A plot, plain and simple. That's what it is. As plain as the corns on your feet.
Who would you claim responsible?
I could go on all night.
Cite a few?
Too numerous.
Just one.
Name names from time to time.
Could you be referring to Native Negro?
Ever try quarantine letters from their spot?
Their organization?
I just like the nose off the mouth and still keep a face.
Connie?
With just like a redhead step child still call her soup.
Your city government?
Now you're talking.
State administration?
Warming up.
Federal?
Can a blind man see?
The court?
Is a pig clean?
Clergy?
Do a polecat think?
Well, with this massive complicity, Mrs. Clan, how do you think the plot could have been prevented from succeeding?
If I'd been in office, this would have never happened.
Oh, well then you're placing major blame on the doorstep of the present administration.
Damn too.
But in your oft-expressed views, Mrs. Clan, isn't one of the main goals of your society to drive the Negroes away, drive them back from where they came from?
Drive, gal, drive. That's right. We say so and not so. Ain't supposed to do nothing till we tell them. Gotta stay put till we exercise our God-given right to tell them where to get.
But why argue if they've merely jumped the gun? Why not rejoice in this premature purging of undesirables?
Time ain't right yet, gal. Time ain't right yet.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Clan.
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, our city's social welfare commissioner, Mrs. Handy Anna A. Now, Mrs. A, with all your Negroes AWOL, haven't developments alleviated the staggering demands placed upon your welfare department? Removal of relief requests, elimination of caseload, and reduction of chronic welfare dependence?
Quite the contrary. Disruption of our pilot projects among Negro settled white community with extreme hardship. You see, historically, our agencies have always been foremost contributors to the Negro Get a Job movement. We pioneered and enforcing social welfare theories which oppose upholding the fakers. We strenuously believe in helping Negroes help themselves by participating in meaningful labor. Relief is all work is in!
Here's our motto.
We place in mice and cooks desk pool diggers and wash bays and maintainers and shoe shine boys and so on. Mostly on a voluntary self-work basis.
Hired at prevailing salary rates, of course.
God forbid money is unimportant. Will only make them worse. Our main goal is to improve ethical behavior. Rehabilitation through private participation. Isn't that a motto of ours? All unwed mothers and loose living malingering fathers and bastard children and shiftless grandparents are all kept occupied with constructive muscle therapy.
They volunteer to participate in these pilot programs.
Heavens no! They're notorious suckers! When I said the program was voluntary, I meant the all-white citizens is overwhelming majority through the voluntary. We placed in homes and offices and appliances and purchased at our disposal for Operation Uplift. We would never dare put such a decision in the hands of a Negro. It would never get off the ground. They have no choice in the matter. Work to starve is the slogan we use to stimulate Negro awareness for what's good in survival.
Well, thank you, Ms. Day. That was very informative.
Ladies and gentlemen, our city's foremost guidance counselor, Reverend Red Pius. Now, Reverend Pius, how do you account for this incredible disappearance?
It's in his hands now, daughter. It's in his hands.
How do you account for it from a moral standpoint?
Oh, morally wrong and ethically indefensible. A perversion against Christian principles to be condemned from every pulpit of this nation.
But how do you account for its occurrence after the many decades of the church's works among them?
It's basically a reversion of the Negro to his deep-rooted primitivism. Now, last, you can understand difficulties in anchoring God's kingdom among ungrateful. It is a constant, unrelenting, no struggle against Satan to wrestle away souls locked in his possession forever. That fight is guidance, soul, and protection. Old Beelzebub still retains tenacious grips among the niggas' tired authorities, comparable to the lure of bright flames to an infant.
But actual physical departure, Red Pius? How do you explain that?
Voodoo, my child, voodoo! with Satan's assist, they probably have employed some heathen magic which we sophisticated, cultivated Christians know absolutely nothing about. You know what? I'll take the mic. However, we are confident and counteracting this evil witch doctrine and triumphant in our holy Savior's name. At this perilous juncture, true believers of all denominations are participating in joint round-the-clock observances and offering prayer for our Master's swiftest intercession. I'm optimistic about this intervention like the rest of these people. Which prompts me, if I may, madam, to offer some words of counsel to your delinquent Negro friends from one of your greatest prophets, Booker T. Washington.
Not mine, the Negro.
The Negroes, they prophets. All right. Return your buckets to where they lay, and all will be forgiven.
May I have it? Thanks, Red Pius. I'm sure they'll take the tug of its magnetic sincerity irresistible. Thanks again, Red Pius.